Hi, I'm Sean Coppins with Great Lakes Bankruptcy Center. We have office locations in Southfield, Michigan and Warren, Michigan, serving residents of Macomb, Oakland, and Wayne counties and all of southeastern Michigan. Today we're going to be talking about property that is exempt from bankruptcy under the bankruptcy laws. One of the popular misconceptions about bankruptcy is that when you file, you lose everything that you own, that the trustee will come in and take all of your property. I think people are getting this idea because Chapter 7 is frequently referred to as a liquidation bankruptcy. And in fact, that is true. The trustee will liquidate non-exempt assets and then use the money that he collects to pay your creditors. Now, we do find that most people filing for Chapter 7 don't have non-exempt assets. And when we talk about assets, we need to assign a value to them, determine what they're worth, and determine whether they're exempted under the bankruptcy code. Here are some examples of the typical exemption limits as they apply to people under the federal exemptions. In certain limited cases, we will apply Michigan exemptions, but we're going to talk about the federal exemptions today because they apply to so many more cases here in Michigan. The homestead equity that a person is allowed to exempt from their primary residence is over $21,000. That means a married couple can have over $42,000 worth of equity in their home and still protect that principal asset without having to worry about the trustee liquidating the property. An individual has over $21,000, and this is important. If you don't use that homestead equity, as many people in Michigan don't have any equity in their home right now and are upside down, you can use over $10,000 worth of the unused homestead equity to exempt any property from the bankruptcy that you choose. Now, there's other categories of things that we have that we can exempt out of the bankruptcy as well, including motor vehicles. If you have a vehicle, you can exempt up to $3,400 of the value of that vehicle under the bankruptcy code. However, if you have more value than that in a vehicle, let's say you have a vehicle that's worth $8,000, that means you're going to have about $4,500 worth of equity that is not exempt under the bankruptcy code. We would simply go to the homestead, the unused homestead equity that you have, to cover that vehicle, and that way you can retain it without any problems. Now, if you're making payments on a motor vehicle, even though the value of the vehicle may be significantly high, we find that most loan repayments are structured in such a way that the loan balance carefully matches the value of that vehicle. Therefore, you don't really have any value in that vehicle that we need to exempt from the bankruptcy. It's not an asset to you. It's something that you're making payments on. And you can continue to make those payments by reaffirming that debt through the bankruptcy. Although we list that debt obligation and the collateral in your bankruptcy petition, you have the option of keeping that vehicle and continuing to make payments on it. Signing reaffirmation agreements and evaluating whether or not they're right for you is something that we can address in another vehicle or on a one-on-one basis by making an appointment for a consultation in my office. Other items of property that have exemption limits that people often inquire about are your household goods and furnishings. You get to keep over $11,000 worth of household goods and furnishings under the current bankruptcy exemptions. And this is the value that they would be worth if you sold them today. Frequently I'm told that people, they come in my office, they'll say, for instance, my dinette set is very valuable. I purchased it for about $4,000. Well, that's great, and I'm sure it's a very nice piece of furniture. But if you were to put that on Craigslist today, you would be lucky to get more than a couple $100s for it, and the person is going to want help loading it into their truck. Believe me, I know. So the $11,000 that you have an exemption for household goods and furnishings is very reasonable and will cover the assets that most people have in their homes. Another item that people frequently ask about is life insurance contracts. The value of a life insurance contract will really have two components. Any value, any loan value that you have in that does have a limitation. That will be a little bit over $11,000 that you can exempt out of the bankruptcy. However, the payout value of that life insurance contract does not have any limitation. It can be for as much as you want, as long as you have to die to get the money. Other things that we have exemptions for are jewelry, which is over $1,400, clothing, which is over $11,000 per individuals, And then we've also got a wild card exemption of $1,100 that we can apply to any property that you should so choose. Another important exemption is for pension benefits, 401k, 403b, and IRAs. These are unlimited. There's no limit on the amount that you can have in any of these tax-deferred accounts, 401k, 403b, pension benefits, or IRA benefits that you can retain under the bankruptcy code. These are never non-exempt assets seized by the trustee. If you have questions about any of these issues, please feel free to contact me. Again, I'm Sean Coppins with Great Lakes Bankruptcy Center. You can contact our Macomb County office at 586-751-0700 or our Oakland County office at 248-508-3290. Thank you.